Hello and welcome to part 3. I am sorry that this took so damn long, but life got in the way. Anyway, we last left off right before the first day, so we're just gonna cut to that. And Deku goes to school, his sisters go off on their mission because they were assigned to go into the underworld to see what the fuck's going on because villains are being more organized. So yeah, he walks to school, and he's walking around UA because that shit's fucking big. You cannot tell me that a whole class of first years did not get lost in there. Anyway, he gets to the classroom designated 1A, and he hears the one voice he didn't want to hear. And that's Bakugo, being a dick, as always. He's yelling at Ida because Ida's trying to get him to put his feet down off the table. And Bakugo ain't having it because Deku, even though he had the most power in middle school, he didn't use it because that could easily make people think he's a villain. So anyway, he goes on to just Ida just keeps on yelling at Bakugo, and then Deku walks in and he just stares at Bakugo with a hateful stare. Because they all came up with a plan to make it seem like Izumi and Isla committed suicide. And they pinned it on Bakugo. When All Might saw that Bakugo was in the entrance exam, he was, needless to say, angry. Izuku took first in all that shit, but hearing that Bakugo still had the audacity to try out for UA angered him. Of course, Aizawa naturally found out about the whole backstory and shit. And he did not like Bakugo. So when he heard Bakugo get in, because he was hiding out behind the desk in his bright yellow sleeping bag. How do you not see that? Anyway, Izuku would walk in, he'd notice Aizawa, and then he'd give his hateful stare to Bakugo. And everyone could tell that there was tension between the two. Ida backed off. He didn't even bother to go up and introduce himself. He just went and took a seat. He was not gonna be in the middle of that. No matter how much of a stick he has shoved up his ass, in the beginning of the year, he will not intervene if he feels like he's going to get his ass beat, which he would have, by Bakugo. Deku would have just left him alone, because it's beef between him and Bakugo. No one else. Aizawa was now shaking behind the desk, hidden in his bright yellow sleeping bag. He knew if he tried to intervene, he'd become taken. He couldn't do shit. And Deku just said, loud enough for the class to hear it, "You have the audacity to show your face here after what you've done." Bakugo, being the arrogant ass that he is, would say, "What? Telling you and your villains of sisters to go kill yourselves? 'Cause I won't take it back." Deku would began to cry, seeing that the brother that he once had in Bakugo is gone, dead. Under his breath, he'd just say, "So my brother's truly gone." And then out loud, he'd just say, "Well, they're dead because of you. They couldn't take it anymore. Izula had a crush on you, and you broke her heart. And because of you, both of my sisters nearly got raped, and if it wasn't for me, they would have been." He'd summon Willbreaker at this point. He was about to cut him down, until Aizawa popped up, calming him down relatively quickly by just coughing. And he'd give a side-eyed look to Bakugo. He didn't even see you see, in this universe, Aizawa did not even see potential in Bakugo. All he saw was a hateful brat with a god complex that needed to be brought down a peg. He'd pull out the gym uniforms, slam them on his desk, and say, "Take these and go to the locker rooms to change. You're having a test." Ochako would ask about orientation, and all Aizawa would say, "My class, my rules. Get moving or you're expelled." And everyone would heed that, because no one wants to get kicked out of UA. And that's not really a good look on you, on your record. You made it into the best school in the country, and you got kicked out on the first day. So they'd all go, and Zuko is built like a fucking tank. I don't know how else to say it. That man is built for tough, if you get the reference. He could take a hit and keep on going. Kirishima would acknowledge this, and Izuku would smile a bit. Mineta would try to be Mineta, but 10 times worse, and try to peek in on the girls without saying a word. Izuku would notice this and stab the floor right in front of Mineta's face, nearly cutting off his nose and his toes. He damn near crippled Mineta for the rest of his life. And he would just say, "Look in there, and you die." He was not going to be taking shit from no one. This shook everyone to their core. Todoroki, who's infiltrating as his family's little spy to keep eyes on Endeavor, would be shaking with fear. Izuku gave off an aura of death. He hadn't killed, but those trips to Tartarus to grow his little taken army were not in vain. He had taken the strongest of all of Tartarus. Hell, he took Lady Nagant. I know Lady Nagant's not in Tartarus, didn't they say you? Fuck. It's been a bit, sorry. No, he'd take a commission puppet that was thrown in there before Nagant almost was. And he'd give them some freedom. And That was only so that way they could tell him the shit show that is the commission. And how it's corrupt to the core. And how they even managed to fully get Hawks under their control. Yeah, no, Hawks is not as free as he is in Canton. He is fully under the commission's control and will do anything and everything that they say to the letter. So when the commission says jump, Hawks will just say how high. And right now, the commission has their eyes on one Izuku Midoriya because of his sisters and him having the most powerful of quirks. But because they are related to Tenko Shimura, aka the Dust Hero, someone who could erase the commission permanently should anyone touch his family, and it's been shown that he would. I mean, shit, anyone would. If your family treats you nice, you'd kill for them. And he has. A certain commission agent was tasked with killing Shigaraki. Was tasked with killing Tenko's family, and they came back as a pile of dust. They couldn't touch the Shimura bloodline since Nana existed and was free as a bird. And she made sure her family knew what the commission does and how to avoid such things. The commission tried to put Shigaraki down, and I'm just going to call him Shigaraki from now on. It's too hard to really say his original name because that's kind of hard to remember, and we all know him by Shigaraki. So I'm just going to call him Shigaraki. He's untouchable by the commission. Him, Eraserhead, Mike, Midnight, All Might. Those 5 are untouchable. All of the UA staff that work under Nezu, untouchable. Hell, Shigaraki works under Nezu and helps out with 13 in the USJ. So, yeah, he's going to be seen there on the opposite side of what he was doing in canon. And he's a bit biased when it comes to family. So he's gonna let Izuku use his quirk when the USJ comes. And you're gonna like that. Now, we skip to when they're all outside. The girls thank Izuku for what he's done. And he just says, no, I would have done it anyway. And then Aizawa calls up first place. Bakugo tries to walk up. And Aizawa would just say, "But do you think it's you? It's not." Katsuki would have a temper tantrum saying, "What? Who the fuck got first? I'm the best one here." And then Aizawa would just point to Izuku, who at this point, I don't know if I told you all his height. He is 7'5". Yeah, no, he a tall boy. They barely managed to find clothes that would fit him. The gym uniform is tight on him. He's that tall. They could see how big his junk is. That's how tight it all is. And that got a certain someone in the class a bit, right in the face. I will not say who. You will find out later on. He would step up, take the ball, and ask Aizawa how much power he wants to put into it. Aizawa would be kind of shocked and just ask, wait, did you not go all out in the entrance exam? He'd laugh. That's all Deku would do. He'd laugh. Then he'd just say, that wasn't even a quarter of my power. That was not even 10%. I don't even know how much power I have. All I know is that I am far from mastering this quirk of mine. Yeah, no, all of the powerful Taken that we see in Destiny and Destiny 2, he'll be able to summon them towards the end of the story. And yeah, let's get back to it. Right now, the only powerful Taken that he has is Cordia, the Blade Transform. So he'd summon Cordia, give him the ball, and just tell him, take it to the Ascendant Realm. And so Cordia did. Off to the Ascendant Realm it went. And yeah, they're not getting that ball back. Cordia would just take that, launch it in the Ascendant Realm because time passes a whole lot slower. Yeah, no, that ball is gonna be there for a few seconds. He'd bring it back and it would look just bad. It would look it looked. Say, you know, if you just leave something there for a while and it would just collect all kinds of dust and it'd be frail as fuck. That's what would happen. And that's about all that happens for him there. And then we just go to everyone else. Everyone else gets their own thing. All that happens is canon, but Deku just stomps all of them out of the water. He took first place. He was the best one there. Shota saw him as a possible wrench in his family's plans to get rid of Endeavor, but he didn't know that. Yeah, no, him and his Deku and his family have a beef with Endeavor. Cause I'm sorry, no. You try to kill my cousin-in-law, I'm going to torture you. And no, Endeavor's gonna get what is due. Yeah, no. It's time skip to the lunch incident. Wait, no, not yet. That's after the 2v2. Time skip to the 2v2. This right here is Deku's hero costume. He looks exactly like this. And he's just... He's a skilled swordsman. There's no other way to put it. If you were to put him in a ring with all of the best swordsmen in anime, he'd come out on top. Mostly because Willbreaker is a nigh unbreakable sword, and only crumbles when its user dies, which it's just connected to Izuku's life force. And if Izuku was to kill anyone, his life would be extended. Because right now he just has the normal human lifespan. So if he were to go and kill someone, his life would be extended. His aging would be slowed. And yeah, that applies for his sisters as well. I don't know if I talked about Inko's quirk in this, but yeah, if I did, I'm gonna change it. If you all know, you all know. If you've heard of Zaida, the worm that we see in the Witch Queen expansion for Destiny 2, yeah, no. She has her powers. Inko's broken. She was a former hero in this one. I'm sorry if I'm changing the story a bit. And she adopted 5 kids that have quirks similar to hers. They would be Yo, Ear, Ire, Aka, and Zol. No, Ear, Yo, Aka, Zol. Yeah, that's their names. They're stupidly hard to remember. Except for Aka and Zol. Because those two are the ones that are mentioned. That one is one that we fight, and the other one is the one that is used to make the Dreadnought. Yeah, no, that we'll talk about that later. The 2v2s. Izuku is teamed up with Uraraka, like in canon, but unlike in canon, she's trying to get into his pants. He looks like he's got money. Which, not gonna lie, he kinda does. He does have a job. He's working a part-time job at... fuck it. A fucking McDonald's. And he just works in the kitchen. And he is the assistant. He likes doing work with his workers because he's the assistant manager. Yeah. Let's see. He just denies Uraraka's advances, even though she's trying to get into his pants for all his money. Gold digging bitch. And he just tells her to stop because they gotta come up with a plan. And then All Might just tells them that it's time to go into the building and commence the exercise. She tells him No, yeah, she tells him. Different. What if he tells her that Bakugo is his, and for her to skedaddle on up and find the bomb, and he'd just walk, make, making sure his footsteps are loud enough for Bakugo to hear it. So that way Bakugo knows exactly where he is. He's gonna pay Bakugo back for 12 years of harsh bullying and nearly raping his sisters. Don't know about you, but if I was him, I would have killed him right then and there. But no, Izuku's still a bit of a nice guy. That will change a lot come the war arc. But yeah, he goes on to brutally beat Bakugo's ass, making sure everyone knows why he's doing it. He beats Bakugo within an inch of his life, but spares him. And he puts the capture tape on him. And All Might announces that Bakugo's captured, and he moves up to the bomb, which Ochako told him where it was, and tried to sweet talk him while she did it, which failed miserably. And he would not take his time. He'd get up there, he'd count down from 3 to 1, break the door down, and go to tackle Ida. Which, for his size and his muscle mass, he moves fast. Like, he went in and he had tackled Ida within around 5 seconds. Yeah, no. He was taking no chances. Because Ida's fast. I'm making him faster here. Because I'm gonna boost him. So that way his pride goes up when he goes to fight Stain. And Stain is kind of a fanatical follower of Savathun, or as to one of Izuku's sisters, well, Izumi, and believes himself as a herald of the Witch Queen, as she's known in the underworld, and wipes out fake heroes doing the proper evidence. I must say, Tensei isn't really a good person. Yeah, he's kind of an ass here. So, yeah. And he is just like that. Let's go back to where I was. The 2v2s. And, yeah, no. Hero team wins. And some people, like Kirishima and Denki, think that Izuku went a bit too far when he basically brutalized Bakugo. Some, like Mina and Toru and Momo, surprisingly, think that he did not go far enough. Hell, even Code Hell, even the soft-spoken people in the class, like Shoji, think that Izuku did not go far enough. The people that thought like Denki or Kirishima thought that he went too far because they don't know how long ago it was. Hell, no one knows how long ago it was. But it's family, man. Kirishima's just a guy that doesn't really like brutal beatings. But he will learn. He will definitely learn. Anyway, let's skip past this to the cafeteria incident. I'ma say Monoma is more of an ass here and tries to pick on Izuku for how tall he is and tries to call him a freak, but right when he's about to hit him in the head, Izuku had already known he was there. He grabs Monoma's hand and breaks it. Oh, a loud snap would have been heard throughout the cafeteria, and Izuku would turn around. The tallest man in the room, a man that's basically a gentle giant, snapped someone's hand. He was not having it that day. He just wasn't. And he made everyone aware. Do not come near me today. I am not having a good day. Monoma would leave, swearing revenge. But he would never be able to get it. He'd try in the sports festival, but that would fail. Yeah, no. He would just... No. Then the alarm would go off. Deku had got up, grabbed one of the third years by the arm, and asked what the hell was going on. Now, villains have indeed gotten onto the campus. Izuku would be very skeptical of this. He'd summon some taken thrall, some taken acolytes, and some taken knights and wizards to look through the entirety of UA campus and find someone that looks suspicious. Now, because in Destiny we're the most broken characters there, the Taken, to a normal human, are fucking terrifying. I could rip them to shreds in a minute. Less than a minute. Swordkill, who's the main villain here, and I have buffed to oblivion to be able to match Izuku and his siblings, would not be there. Just some people. There's some random villains. And Kurogiri. They'd be found by a thrall. And all the rest would come converging on their position. The thralls may not seem very smart, but to the average light bearer, but to the human, they are terrifyingly smart, and they are terrifyingly strong. The thrall would go after Kurogiri first, seeing that he might be their way of escape. He'd pin him down, These villains would try to beat the thrall off, but another two thralls, another few dozen thralls and a few dozen acolytes would come in, pin them down, and the knights would come to take them hostage, basically. Considering they're knights, they can either have the boomer or a sword. Zuko, being one for blades, summoned sword bearers. And they'd have swords to their necks. And they'd march to the principal's office. Although considering there were like a few dozen thrall, one thrall would go back to Izuku and tell him that villains had indeed broken onto the campus. During that time that the villains were there and got captured, Izuku had saw that it was the press outside, and he would basically scream at the top of his lungs, "Look outside! Y'all are a bunch of weaklings if you think that being here in UA is just some right that you have. You're all supposed to be the future of heroes, and you got scared over one small villain attack. If that's how you all act, leave. You don't belong here." That would calm everyone down. He'd also just tell him to look outside as he'd start to leave. As he was about halfway to his class, the thrall would come up to him and chitter in the hive-taken language that there was indeed an intruder on campus and that they'd been captured. Everyone would wonder why he didn't tell them about all this. And he'd said, because I don't know if any of you are gonna be like him and start to brutally bully me for it. Now, someone did indeed break onto campus. They had some portal guy. And I'm off to the principal's office. I need to explain it. So he'd be off to the principal's office. Nezu was wondering why some shadowy creatures would wonder why Izuku's Taken were there holding 3 people just like hostage. And Izuku would walk up and ask one of the knights, "Hey, what happened, sir? These humans broke onto campus, and they were going to steal some files. Here, these are the files that they were going to take." And he'd look at them. USJ. Huh. Interesting. It was at that moment that Kurogiri would wake up and teleport away. Escaping the grip of the thrall that had him. Barely. As soon as he appeared in the bar, he would be breathless and terrified. He caught the face of Izuku. Nothing scared him more than that. Then Izuku would walk into the principal's office with the files and an escaped Kuragiri. He'd tell Nezu about this whole thing, how when the alarm went off, he sent some of his taken around the campus to find intruders if there were any, because he had a feeling that someone might have actually been dumb enough to get on campus. He'd also tell him, he'd also translate what the thralls, acolytes, and knights were saying to Nezu. And Nezu would be impressed. The Taken had their own language. And Izuku could understand them. Now, Nezu was in on the missions that Izula and Izumi were taking, and how they will be allowed into UA as soon as their mission is done. And if they can cripple the efforts of whoever's doing this whole organizing the villains thing. And it would get to a point. Izula and Izumi had found All for One. And they were still trying to find all the labs and bases for All for One's little projects. His Nomu labs, his daycares that he's setting up to make of it new villains. They were trying to find all that. Stain was a direct. Stain answered directly to Izumi, despite Izumi being far younger than him. She would basically tell him, do your research, find every fake hero you can, cripple them, but make sure that they don't fully fall. They became heroes for a reason. Find them. Find out why. Do thorough research, search into their backgrounds, their family backgrounds. Find out why they are fake. But until then, good hunting. Izumi was a good leader. She was damn near as good a strategist as Izuku. Her plans only had minor flaws, whereas Izuku's had none. Izula was the warrior. You tell her to go do something, she will do it. Nothing really stops Izula. She's just a walking tank. The only people who can really defeat her are her sisters. Her sister and brother. Blah. Sorry, different what if. I'm really spoiling a lot of things for a lot of different what ifs, aren't I? Well, you'll learn what they are soon. Anyway, Izuku and the rest of Class 1A would get on the bus going to the USJ, and Sue would just be blunt and ask, Izuku, what is your quirk? It's called Taken King. Huh. What does it do? Well, you know those creatures you saw the day of the cafeteria incident? Yeah? Those are just base ones that I can summon. There are 3 different classes: light, medium, and heavy. And then there's tank. Light, medium, heavy, and tank. I don't really summon tank level taken unless I have to. Those ones are ones that will rarely come out. But they will come out more than a high level. Or a special grade, as I call them. Huh? Special grade? Like Cordia, the one I summoned on the one I showed you all on the first day. You thought I could only summon her, didn't you? Well, yeah, that's the only one you really showed. Yeah, that's on me. Also, why do you hate Bakugo so much? Because of him, me and my late sisters had suffered. He ordered them raped. And they almost completed it if I didn't come around the corner and scare them off. Because of him, they're dead. At least I hope, or at least I'd much rather think that they're dead, other than think of another fate that had befallen them. The day after he told all 3 of us to take a swan dive off the roof, they went missing. We had searched, but nothing. Gone. All they had is the clothes on their back and the training that I gave them. Though this warrior queen and witch queen seem to have similar fighting styles to them. I like to hope that they're dead and that's just someone using their corpses. But if it really is them, I must try to bring them back to the light. Because if I don't, I'll have failed as an older brother. But Katsuki here seems to think only with his pea-sized brain that quirks are everything when they're not. Yeah, whatever, you damned villain. They probably are villains. You probably are too. I mean, that's what's in your nature, isn't it? Katsuki, if you really want me to become a villain, keep up that talk and I will. I'll shove will breakers so far up your ass it comes out your mouth. And then I'll parade your corpse around town. Matter of fact, I'll parade it across the entirety of Japan. I'll even tell them why I killed you. To see the disappointment on Auntie Mitsuki's face when she finds out what her little boy's been doing. To think how angry Uncle Masaru might get at his own little boy for what he's done to family friends and their children. Oh, don't think I didn't hear those sly remarks you've made at my mom and dad. I heard them all. And if you honestly think I'm gonna let you get away with it, you are dead wrong. You will not get anything. You won't even make it past your first year of UA if I have my way. And then they get there. 13 and Shigaraki would be waiting outside the USJ. Katsuki, not knowing that Shigaraki and Izuku are cousins, would find out right then and there. And this would set Bakugo off. Huh? You're telling me that you two are related? I don't buy it. Shigaraki would then just look at Izuku. So, this is the brat that's been causing you so much pain. The reason why Izuwa and Izumi are dead? I'm surprised you made it past the first day with Eraser. Yeah, same here. I'm surprised Aizawa didn't expel him on the first day. Oh, believe me, I would've. If it wasn't for the plan. Yeah. The plan. Yes. He'll be gone soon enough. And then we'll tell Auntie Mitsuki what he's been doing. Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I'm surprised she doesn't know yet, with how he acts. Yeah, same. Excuse me, you three. If you are quite done, we must get on with this. We have training to do. Oh yeah, where's All Might? He's gone over his limit. He'll be here momentarily. Seems Uncle really went overboard again. Any idea what's been going on? Yeah. Something the Hero Commission's been keeping secret. Izumi found out that All for One is on the Commission's payroll. At least, it might be the other way around. It seems like there's something going down. All for One might have the commission in his pocket. Oh, interesting. Okay. Hey, sir, why don't you just get rid of that Bakugo brat? He's the cause for my cousin's deaths. I'll say it as many times as I must. I would like to get rid of him, if it wasn't for how we plan to expose him to the world. Oh. Okay. Anyway, 13, get on with the explanation. Something doesn't feel right. What is it, little cousin? I sense something here. Someone's here that shouldn't be. He then opened a large ascendant gate, summoning Cordia, Malak, and a shit ton of Taken Hive and Taken Vex to spread out and capture whoever was there that should not be. And to only use lethal force unless 100% necessary. unless it's someone like Muscular or the yeah, unless it's someone like Muscular or Moonfish, because those two are really well known by now and are known serial killers that are unreformable. They just aren't. One is a straight up cannibal, and the other one is just a psychotic murderer. And so they did. Kurogiri would open up the portal in the middle. Almost everyone in Class 1A would be able to get out before that, except for Bakugo, because he's too much of a prideful prick. He'd stay there and try to fight and get his ass beat by the first thug that he tried to fight. Yeah, no. These are C rank villains fighting a kid. They did something. They beat Bakugo. And he got his ass saved by Izuku. In which he would just say, I may hate you, but you're not allowed to die yet. And so the Taken would beat all the villains' asses, and that's when the USJ Nomu would show up. And Swordkill would have it target Izuku. And he'd just mince the Nomu. And like its arms and legs were gone. And then he'd make it Taken. Swordkill would see this and would retreat with Kurogiri, leaving the other villains to their fates, as they'd all get arrested. And that's the video. If you like it, press the like button. If you don't like it, dislike it. If you want to, subscribe. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. It's your life. I will see you in the next one. Bye.